Picture Pikachu. Focus on the tail, specifically the very tip. Now imagine the fruit of the Loom logo on a t-shirt tag. Most people see a dark stripe on the Pokemon's tail and a woven cornucopia basket holding that pile of fruit. If you look at the logos printed on these actual shipping boxes, the basket is gone. It was never there. And that famous Pikachu tail? It's completely solid yellow. This experience, sharing a vivid, specific, and incorrect memory with millions of people, is known as the Mandela Effect. It's named after the world's most famous collective memory glitch, the widespread conviction that Nelson Mandela died in a South African prison in the 1980s. The actual timeline is well documented. Mandela was released in 1990, served as president of South Africa in the mid-90s, and lived until 2013, passing away at the age of 95. This collective dissonance leaves us with a choice. We can either believe we're sliding between parallel universes, or we can look closer at the biological illusions created by our own brains. To understand why we're so easily fooled, we have to look at memory as an energy-saving process rather than a flawless recording. This starts with the hippocampus, which acts as the brain's information desk. It intentionally filters out the vast majority of the details we encounter every day, saving only a sparse skeleton of the most important data points. When you try to recall that experience later, your prefrontal cortex acts like a lazy novelist. It looks at that skeletal outline and uses logic and imagination to fill in the missing blanks. Every act of recall is a creative, real-time reconstruction. The brain streamlines this process using a folder system called schemas. Instead of remembering every detail of a logo, your brain groups the Fruit of the Loom brand into an abundant fruit schema, alongside apples, grapes, and the woven cornucopias often found in autumn displays. When you reach for the logo in your mind, your brain opens that fruit folder and pulls out a cornucopia that was never part of the brand, simply because it was stored in the same mental drawer. Because we share a common culture, millions of us use the same logic and the same schemas. We aren't just making mistakes, we are all making the exact same filing error. Digital technology turns these individual biological glitches into a collective pandemic. It begins when a single person shares their misfiled memory online with total confidence. Social media algorithms prioritize engagement. When millions of people see and react to a Mandela Effect post, the AI feeds that false memory to even more users, amplifying the error. When you see thousands of people seemingly confirming your own fuzzy recollection, your brain assumes its original, sparse data was wrong. It overwrites your own uncertain memory with the social consensus. In the internet age, a simple mental shortcut quickly mutates into a persistent and unshakable shared conviction. If we accept that our own memories are built on such fragile algorithmic foundations, the rigid certainty we feel about the past begins to look misplaced. The pure Korean word haeum, meaning thought or imagination, captures the essential ingredient mixed into everything we remember. Our history isn't a hard file, it's an ongoing act of creation. Understanding this creative process takes the edge off our arguments. It reminds us that our personal truth is often just a very convincing story we've told ourselves. This realization offers a practical way to handle disagreements. When you're certain you're right, you can choose to lead with humility, admitting that human memory is a work in progress. If a friend insists you are supposed to meet them in a specific spot in Hongdae and they're clearly mistaken, you don't have to win the argument. You can offer them grace, knowing their brain likely just opened a schema folder for a different night or a different street. The Mandela Effect serves as a scientific reminder of our shared human flaws, a signal to approach our relationships with greater flexibility and warmth.